"You're just the family embarrassment," my sister said, into a microphone in front of 40 people. So I pulled out her diary and read it out loud. "Hey there. We're working hard to hit our first 1,000 subscribers. If you love true, emotional stories, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. Now let's get into the story. Let me back up. My name's Chris. I'm 23. I just graduated last month with a degree in digital arts and animation. I know, not exactly what my family considers real success. I'm the youngest in the family, quiet, average grades, kind of kept to myself. I liked to draw when I was younger. I loved making dumb little cartoons in my room while my sister, Jenna, was winning academic awards, racking up scholarships, and posting filtered photos of her perfect life all over Instagram. She's 4 years older, and my parents treated her like she was some kind of rare Olympic gold baby. Every Thanksgiving, Jenna got into honors again. Every family group chat, Jenna's flying out for her master's program. Meanwhile, I'd get a K when I texted I passed a class. It didn't even bother me that much growing up. I had friends. I had my own lane. But when I hit 18, I started noticing something. Jenna wasn't just proud of herself. She was mean about it. Subtle at first. Backhanded stuff. You're still drawing? That's cute. Or, Mom said you're doing animation now. That's brave. The kind of crap that's disguised as a compliment but cuts just enough to make you feel 2 inches tall. But again, I swallowed it. All of it. For years. Until my graduation party. My parents threw it at our house. Backyard tents, folding tables, overpriced catering from some local fusion place my mom loves. 40 people. A mix of family friends, neighbors, and a few of my classmates from college. I didn't ask for any of it, to be honest. I just wanted to have a quiet dinner with my friends. But Jenna flew in. To support me, she said. She showed up wearing all white like it was her party. Started mingling, laughing loudly, hugging people like a politician working a crowd. I barely saw her the whole night. She only spoke to me once before dinner, to point out a wrinkle on my shirt collar. Anyway, about halfway through, my dad grabs the mic and gives a little speech. It was awkward and generic, but heartfelt. "We're proud of Chris. It's been a long road, but he made it." Then Jenna takes the mic. Unplanned. No warning. She smiles this big, fake smile and goes, "I'd like to say a few words too, if that's okay." My stomach dropped. I knew that tone. She starts with, "Growing up, Chris was always different. I was the mathlete, the debate queen, and Chris was, well, Chris liked cartoons." There was light laughter. Not from everyone, but enough. I stared at my plate. My hands were fists under the table. She kept going. "But honestly, I'm proud of him. He took what most people would consider a hobby and somehow made it into a degree. That's impressive. Risky, but impressive. It just goes to show that even the family embarrassment can surprise you sometimes." That was the line. That was it. Everyone laughed. Even my mom. My grandma literally gasped and whispered, "Jenna." And my sister just raised her glass and said, "To Chris." And I smiled. That fake, calm, "I'm about to bury you" kind of smile. Because what no one knew was that 6 days before that party, I found something in Jenna's old room. And everything she's ever built, every perfect photo, every speech, every lie, was about to fall apart. 6 days before my graduation party, I was looking for a charger. That's literally how it started. I was staying at my parents' place for a few nights before the ceremony, and the charger for my drawing tablet was missing. My room's always been kind of the family storage closet, so I figured I'd check the one place nobody touches anymore, Jenna's old bedroom. She moved out 2 years ago, left behind a bookshelf, a few boxes of seasonal clothes, some old trophies, and a drawer full of overpriced skincare junk, and one leather-bound journal, shoved behind a stack of yearbooks in the bottom drawer of her desk. Now, let me be clear. I wasn't looking to dig through her stuff. I really did just want my charger. But the second I saw that black cover, with 2022 written in gold ink on the corner, something in me paused. Curiosity is a funny thing. I opened it. First few pages? Pretty normal. Grocery lists, workout routines, motivational quotes she probably copied off Pinterest. But then came the real stuff. The entries were dated, typed, and printed. She must have been pasting them in to make it aesthetic. One of them was titled, November 12th, Breakdown Number 3. It started with, "I don't know how much longer I can keep pretending. I feel like a complete fraud. Everyone thinks I'm thriving in grad school, but I haven't submitted a paper in months. I'm behind on rent. I lied to Mom and said I'm graduating next spring. I'm not even enrolled anymore. I stopped breathing for a second. I read more. Chris doesn't deserve to succeed before me. He's lazy. He draws cartoons while I fight to hold everything together. It's not fair. I don't even think he knows how lucky he is. I wish I could start over. I wish I could disappear. There were dozens of entries like that. Talking about her falling apart. Talking about lying to her boyfriend. Talking about cheating on said boyfriend with someone from her old program. And then ghosting him. Then came the worst part. March 4th, panic. I applied to a junior design job last week and got rejected. Turns out the company is run by some startup Chris interned at last summer. What if he's working there now? I'll die if he finds out. Let me say that again. She applied for a job. At my company. She didn't get it. And she didn't know why. I remember sitting on her bedroom floor for a solid 15 minutes after that. Just holding this journal. Heart pounding. Brain spinning. I could have burned it. Could have told my parents. Could have mailed it to her boyfriend anonymously. But I didn't. Instead, I bookmarked a few pages. Folded them cleanly. Slid them into my pocket. Put the journal back exactly how I found it. And I left her room without saying a word. I didn't know what I was going to do yet. But I knew this. If Jenna tried to humiliate me at graduation, I wouldn't take it lying down. And if she stayed quiet, I'd let her keep pretending. Simple deal. She made her choice. I didn't say anything to her after that toast. I clinked glasses with a few guests. I smiled through clenched teeth. I ate a little too much of that overpriced chicken with mango drizzle, or whatever the hell that was supposed to be. And I waited. She went right back to being Jenna. Smiling, showing off her golden big sister routine like nothing happened. Laughing too loud. Making sure everyone heard about her upcoming graduation from NYU. She even dropped a line about how she'd be mentoring struggling students like Chris in the future. I didn't touch the mic right away, but she kept pushing. After dinner, when people were starting to wind down, my mom stood up and tapped her glass again. She looked over and said, "Chris, why don't you say a few words? This is your day." Before I could even answer, Jenna smirked and said, "Oh, come on, let's not force him. We all know public speaking isn't his thing." And that was it. Snap. I stood up, walked to the mic, took it right out of her hand. I could see her smile twitch, just a little. That tight jaw clench she does when she realizes she pushed too far. I didn't look at her. I looked at the crowd. Everyone was watching me. Some people still holding drinks. Some were mid-bite. And I said, "Actually, I want to thank Jenna. Because she reminded me tonight that people aren't always what they pretend to be." She shifted in her seat. Her smile faded. I reached into my back pocket, pulled out the neatly folded paper, the one I'd carried for 6 days straight. "Sometimes," I said, "the people who spend the most time judging others are the ones hiding the biggest messes." Then I read, word for word. I feel like a complete fraud. Everyone thinks I'm thriving in grad school, but I haven't submitted a paper in months. I lied to Mom. I'm not even enrolled anymore. The air got sucked out of the party. I looked up for half a second. Jenna's face was white. Her wine glass was shaking in her hand. My mom looked confused. My dad looked like someone just unplugged him. I kept going. Chris doesn't deserve to succeed before me. He's lazy. He draws cartoons while I fight to hold everything together. It's not fair. Gasps. Whispers. Her boyfriend, Daniel, was staring at her with his mouth slightly open, like someone just slapped him awake. I didn't yell. I didn't laugh. I didn't cry. I just read. And when I finished the last quote, "I'll die if he finds out," I folded the paper, put it back in my pocket, and handed the mic to my mom. Silence. For 10 full seconds, there was complete silence. Then I said one last thing. Quiet. Direct. She called me the family embarrassment. But I'd rather be honest and flawed than fake and hollow. Then I walked over to the dessert table, grabbed a fat slice of cake, and sat back down. She got up and left. No goodbye. No explanation. Her boyfriend followed her out 5 minutes later. He didn't look back. Nobody said a word to me that night after Jenna left. Not at first. The moment I sat back down with my plate of cake, the energy in the backyard changed completely. Like someone had yanked the battery out of the party. People were suddenly remembering they had to get home. Ants were whispering. One of my uncles fake coughed and practically ran to his car with his wife trailing behind him. My mom stood by the food table, just frozen, holding a half-full wine glass, blinking too fast, trying to process everything. My dad kept pretending to clean up, but he didn't even look at me. which honestly wasn't new. I took my time with that cake. Vanilla sponge with lemon cream filling. My mom's favorite bakery. Expensive as hell. Tasted amazing. Eventually, my mom came over. She didn't yell, but her voice was sharp, like every word was a slap in the face. What the hell was that, Chris? I just looked at her and said, the truth. You humiliated your sister in front of everyone. I didn't answer. Because you know what? She humiliated me for years. And nobody cared. Nobody said a word when I was 17, and Jenna told our family friends I probably wouldn't graduate high school on time. Nobody flinched when she used to make jokes about how I'd end up working in retail because Chris doesn't do real work. No one ever pulled her aside when she constantly mocked my art, my friends, even the way I dressed. They all laughed. But when I said 5 honest sentences, suddenly I'm the villain. My mom kept going, accusing me of invading her privacy, twisting her words, planning this whole thing to make her look bad. I just looked her in the eye and said, she wrote it. I read it. If that's what ruins her reputation, maybe she should have written something different. Then I walked past her and started collecting the trash. Because that was my party. I wasn't going to let her ruin the ending too. Later that night, I got a text from Daniel, Jenna's boyfriend. It just said, thank you for telling me. I had no idea. I ended it. That was it. No follow-up. No call. Just the cleanest breakup text I've ever seen. A few hours later, Jenna blocked me on everything. Not just social media. My phone too. I found out she left town the next morning, packed her stuff, and flew out without even telling our parents. Good. Let her run. Let her build a new life on lies somewhere else. But this time, I wasn't going to help her keep up the act. The house was weirdly quiet for the next few days. No passive-aggressive texts from my mom. No fake cheerful good morning in the kitchen. My dad avoided eye contact like I'd personally rearranged his spine. It was like everyone was holding their breath, waiting for someone to fix it. But no one did. Jenna didn't call, didn't explain, didn't even try to defend herself. She just vanished. My parents didn't even have a clue she was gone until her landlord called looking for her last rent check. That was the moment it started clicking for them. One by one, the cracks in the perfect daughter mask started showing. Turns out, her grad program had unenrolled her months ago for academic probation. The wedding she'd been planning with Daniel? Canceled. He called off everything after reading through more of her old messages. Apparently, he went through her computer the night she stormed out. Found even worse stuff. Lies she'd told about me, about him, about their future. He emailed me to say thank you. Said he felt like he'd been sleeping next to a stranger for 3 years. Said he didn't know how to face her family, until I gave him a reason. But the real shock came a week later. I was in the middle of applying for a grant for my animation startup when I got a knock at the front door. It was my dad, holding an old family photo in his hand. Can we talk? He asked. I stepped outside with him. We sat on the front porch in total silence for a full minute. Then he said, I didn't know. He was staring at the picture. Me at age 10, Jenna at 14, both of us in ugly Christmas sweaters. I didn't know she felt that way. About you. About herself. I didn't say anything. Then he added, we didn't protect you. We thought she was just teasing, but reading what she wrote, he shook his head. It was cruel. I'm sorry. That was the first time my dad had ever apologized to me. Like, ever. And I knew it hurt him to say it. But I also knew it wasn't enough. Not after years of letting Jenna control the narrative. Not after being brushed off every time I said something felt off. I appreciated the apology, but I wasn't about to hand out forgiveness like it was candy. Still, I nodded. I'm not mad, I said. I'm just done pretending she's something she's not. And that was the truth. The weirdest part? After that conversation, my parents actually started treating me like a human being. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe they were scared the next secret would be about them. Or maybe, for the first time in their lives, they realized I wasn't just the other kid. I was the one who told the truth. It's been 3 months since that night in the backyard. 3 months since the toast. 3 months since the mic drop. 3 months since Jenna disappeared. She never came back to the house. From what I've pieced together, she moved to a different city and started going by her middle name. Deleted her social media. Broke off contact with 90% of the family. She told our aunt she was working on herself. That she needed space to heal. Cool. I needed 10 years to do that. She gets applause for 3 months. My parents still don't talk about the party. They pretend it didn't happen. Sometimes my mom will slip up and say something like, you know how your sister gets. and I'll just raise an eyebrow, and she'll shut down real quick. But there's one difference now. They finally treat me like I belong. They ask questions about my animation work. They invite me to dinner without comparing me to her. They even told one of their friends that I was a creative entrepreneur. First time I've ever heard them say anything like that. I'm not waiting for their approval anymore. But yeah, it's nice. As for me, the startup's doing okay. I got that grant. We're building a small team now, 3 guys and a girl who's 10 times better than I am at digital rigging. We're not Pixar or anything, but we're making stuff we care about. And for the first time, people are actually watching. Some nights, I still think about Jenna. Not out of spite. Not even with anger. Just that weird, detached sadness you feel when someone important turns out to be made of paper. We shared a childhood, a house, memories. But the person she became, the person who laughed at me in front of 40 people and smiled like it was love, I don't know her anymore. And I'm done trying to understand her. A few weeks ago, I saw a clip from someone's phone. A TikTok video from the graduation party. Just a few seconds. The moment she raised her glass and said I was the family embarrassment. There I was in the background, sitting still, staring at the table, fork in hand. I watched myself, knowing what was about to happen, knowing what I had in my pocket. It made me laugh. Not loud, not bitter, just one of those low, exhausted laughs you let out when you realize how much you've changed since then. That kid at the table? He thought his only choice was to swallow every insult and smile through it. The guy watching now? He doesn't. And yeah, I stayed for cake. Because it was my graduation party. And for once, I decided I was going to enjoy it. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day. And trust me, tomorrow's story? It's even worse than this one.